Hey everyone, it's Danielle and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to include my top 10 sales of 2020. I know we're way past like 2020, but I figured better late than never, and before February would be like my deadline. Anyways, before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone who recently subscribed to my channel and liked the video and just simply watched it. It was my most viewed video to date, which isn't a lot, by the way. It's only like in the 80s, but it's still very flattering that people watch my video. Anyways, thank you for all of you who subscribed and for watching and all that. Right, so let's go ahead and get started with the video. So I took notes in my handy dandy plant notebook, got it at Home Goods in case you're wondering, and I wrote down minor details of my top 10 items that sold in 2020, and I will display a photo here so that you could see what it looks like and what it sold for. So I will be doing a countdown from my 10th item all the way to number 1. They're in no particular order, but just know that I did make a profit off of them. These were items that I just either enjoyed selling or I thought was an interesting find, and maybe a combination of those reasons. So here we go. My 10th item is a painted pony tapestry blazer. It was vintage and I really liked the floral design. I just thought it was interesting, and I've seen some of my favorite YouTubers sell items like this before, so I just wanted to give it a try. It did take a while to sell, however it did end up selling obviously on eBay and not Poshmark. It sold for $55 plus shipping. Ninth item are these vintage overalls that had floral embroidery and I think a butterfly pattern. I thought they were really cute, and again, I wanted to test out my vintage style picking skills, so I went for them. I didn't pay a lot as an investment, but they ended up selling for $40, and I surprisingly was able to find a stock photo and some that had already sold for $35–40 range, so I was confident they would sell, and I think they sold within like a month or so. My 8th item are these, actually 2 pairs of 90s Skechers chunky heel. I've sold both for like an average of about $50. You will see in the photo what each of them sold for. They were pretty similar in style. I saw another favorite YouTuber of mine that she had bought them and had been listing them and sold for $60, and then another YouTuber also sold some, I think on Depop, for like $90, so I just went ahead and picked them up. I also owned a pair myself, the one with the little zippers, but obviously I donated a while ago, so it was just one of those things that kind of came back in style. So I took a chance on it, and it did well. And I actually bought a 3rd pair that I'll be listing sometime in the near future. My 7th item was a Lilly Pulitzer dress, and it sold for like $68. I picked it up because I didn't pay a lot for it, and I knew it would sell. It was like in excellent condition. I think it was like a size 2, which was small, so I was kind of nervous, but it did end up selling. And again, that was my first Lilly Pulitzer piece, so I was super excited to sell that. My number 6 item is a Free People Hit the Slopes fleece jacket. Out in Phoenix, we have a Dillard's clearance center, and they do some really good sales on top of their already clearance items. So I go there to source sometimes for myself as well as to resell. So that's where I found that item. It was in a light pink color, and it sold for $100, which was a nice sale for me. I was super excited to see it go for that price, and I did buy a couple more to see how those would do as well. My 5th item are these denim jeans by Desigual, and I'm not entirely sure if that's how you pronounce the brand name, but I do know that they are a European brand because I've been abroad before, and I've actually been to one of their retail stores. Their brand does retail for a lot, but I was super excited to see it in the thrift store, and do know that they have a following. They are embroidered jeans with this patchwork design, as well as if you roll up the bottoms, they show like a cute fabric pattern, and I believe they were elastic. They did sell for $40, so not a lot, but I did obviously make a profit. So my 4th item are these Doc Martin Leah boots. I believe they are men's. They are black, and they were brand new with tags. I sold them for $98, and Doc Martens is actually one of my top selling brands. I never say no to Doc Martens. I do source Doc Martens at the Dillard's clarinet. I never say no to Doc Martens. I do find them at the Dillard's Clearance Center, and that's where I source them, both men's and women's. So when I find them, I definitely pick them up like all the time. So just know that Doc Martens are a great seller. Okay, these last 3 items are not going to be clothing related. They're going to be food, beauty, and like kitchenware. So if you don't follow at Thrift to Travel, I will put her social media handle over here. She buys discontinued items and sells them and is able to pay for her traveling adventures. And when she does go and travel abroad, she is actually able to source items out there and bring them back to the States. And she just continues building her empire, essentially. So I think it's super awesome. If you have not heard of her, please go check her out. She has some interesting items that aren't clothing related, and I think it's super cool to see what other options are available to us resellers, because there's something for everyone and it's not just clothing. Third item is this Lot of When by Chaz Dean conditioner. It is a very popular conditioner and does have a following, and I've always kind of knew about it because I know they sell it on QVC, and I think I've bought it before in the past, but it still has a strong following, and I actually was reminded of it because of Thrift to Travel, and I've seen her sell numerous things by his line, so it is something worth checking out. I believe it sold for about $60, and that sold on Poshmark. The next item might shock you because it shocked me, and I didn't think it was going to sell because it was newly expired, and I was just like, I just wasted money on this, but let's give it a try. My investment wasn't a lot though, so it was fine if I lost out on it, but I didn't. It was a lot of Nestea powder mix, and mind you, it had already expired. However, it sold for $179.99 for, I believe, a lot of 3 of them. And then a single one that had a different expiration date, I just excluded from that lot and sold it individually. That one individually just sold for $54.99. This item was discontinued, so I think people just really wanted it and were willing to pay the price for it. I was just super shocked that someone was willing to pay that much for powdered sweet tea mix. But more power to them. They obviously really love it, so money in my pocket. My final item is this Starbucks 2019 Halloween cup. It did sell for $150, brand new. I had saved it for a year because I just wanted to hang on to it, because I actually thought I was going to keep it for me, but then I decided I just rather have the money for it because I just wasn't using it. I know that there's a lot of people that dislike the fact that resellers sell these Starbucks cups for way more money, but I personally don't go out and swipe the whole shelf. Not that that really makes it any better, but just know that I do pick up Starbucks cups here and there. Starbucks is like a year investment or even longer. So that cup, when I first sold like the first 4, they only sold for like $50, $55, which yes, that's a lot of money, but I held on to my last one just because I really did think I wanted it for me. But then the price went up like a year later. So definitely look into Starbucks. Starbucks was also introduced to me by Thrift to Travel, and she's just really amazing at showing other items that I never thought to look for. Alright, that is all I have for today. Please consider subscribing to this channel and like my video. It really helps me out a lot.